Hi, and welcome back to What's Your Thoughts? A talk show brought to you by the youth.
For the youth.
I'm Jordan.
And I'm Jacob.
And we are your hosts for today. So, for the past few weeks, we've discussed a number of topics.
12 disciples, what can you do for God?
Yeah, so we've gone through a bunch of topics which, if you haven't watched yet,
After this video, I think you should watch it.
Yeah, I suggest you watch it after this video. So, now, our topic of discussion today is fear. And our title is Stand for Christ. So, when we talk about standing for Christ, we're going to be also looking into what's holding us back from making a stand for God.
Yeah, we're going to dive in and look in depth into what does it mean to be a Christian and standing for Christ.
Yeah. So, there are three main points that we'll be covering. What does it mean to make a stand for Christ? What's holding us back? And the importance of making a stand.
Yeah.
So, before we get into this, let's look at fear. The fear of making a stand. Because fear is one of the main things that really tends to hold us captive.
Yeah. Fear is like the devil's toy with you. How he toys with you.
Right. So sometimes we don't really realize, but the devil has us captive through fear.
Yeah, we're like a prisoner of it. Fear is the cage. It's like putting your dog in a cage.
You never really know when you're in fear.
You never
Sometimes
know.
if you're not aware, you will get caught off guard, and the next thing you know, you're just living your life in fear day after day.
John, I think it's called anxiety.
Anxiety is another form of fear, I believe. But either way, we should never be living our lives in fear or anxiety.
Yeah.
So, fear is such a wide topic that we really had to narrow it down to the fear of making a stand for Jesus. Because if we were seriously to sit here and talk about every different type of fear, let me tell you, it will be Christmas Eve, then it'll be Chinese New Year, and we still wouldn't be finished.
Yeah, we won't be finished. Pretty soon then, I bet you my dad's gonna be a call so when you coming home, man?
Yeah, exactly. We would never actually be finished. This is a very wide topic.
Yeah, it's a wide topic. There's multiple fears. There's so many fears like tribal phobia.
Arachnophobia.
Wait, what is the fear called? Arachnophobia?
Yeah, fear of spiders. Okay. So, fear. What is fear? What gives fear so much power that it can turn a peaceful mind into a mind of torment and can change the heart of a man from that of joy to one of despair? Now, I believe the answer is us. But before I give you my take on it, let me know what's your take on fear. What's fear to you?
Or should we say, what's your thoughts on fear?
Whatever. What's your fear? Tell me what's your take on fear, Jake?
Well, okay. I'm pulling this out the dictionary. Fear, by the English dictionary, says an unpleasant emotion caused by threat or danger, but not necessarily. Half the time, it's fear of the future, fear of the past, the present, what's going to happen to you.
Exactly.
And sometimes you feel afraid and you don't know why you are afraid. You just feel fear. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, I have. And we know that fear is not from God. Because we know in the Bible it says, God gave me the spirit, did not give me the spirit of fear, but gave me the spirit of power.
And of a sound mind.
Yeah. So, if fear is not from God, it's from the devil, okay?
Yeah.
So
fear
let's
is
get that
from the
straight.
devil, yeah.
So, my take on fear is that we are the ones who give fear every inch of space that it has on the battleground that is our own mind.
Yeah.
To overcome fear, we must first understand what is fear. I believe fear is not real in a sense. The only place fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It causes us to fear things that do not at present or may never actually exist. When you think about it, right, every time you are afraid. When I was a kid, I used to, at night, when I used to go to sleep at night, I always a fear that something might come through the door, right?
Something might come through the door.
But
the boogeyman come up from the closet.
But when you think about it, that is a fear of the future.
Yeah.
It does not at present exist, and it may never actually exist. So, back to my take. we have to choose if we are going to be held captive to fear or if we are going to make a stand and push fear back. Now, when it comes to fighting fear, we also have to know that we have to be faithful. Okay? We might not always know what's to come in the future, and this always comes back to uncertainty.
Yeah.
We don't always have our lives planned out to a certain way. We never actually know what might happen
No
next.
matter how much you lay like the plans of life on a table, either way there's gonna be a setback
Yeah.
or something. So
But that should never be what
Yeah.
stops us.
from
So-
achieving our goals.
Yeah, so being faithful is one of the really important things to help us take back from fear, push fear back. But if faith was easy, if being faithful was easy, everybody would be faithful, am I right? But
Yeah.
being a Christian isn't about knowing what's about to happen. It's about making a conscious decision that I'm going to trust God about what's going to come.
Yeah.
So that's where faithfulness comes in. No matter what life may tell you, you stick to what you know and what God has said, and you'll make it out of there. And God will pull you out of whatever circumstances you're in.
Whatever hole you're in, whatever ditch you're in,
Exactly.
if you stay faithful to God, God will pull you out of whatever ditch you are in.
Okay, so that's a little introduction to what we have. So, with that being said, let's get into our first point, and that is, what does it mean to make a stand for Jesus?
Dude, that's such a short drum roll. It should be more enthusiastic.
We don't exactly have a lot of time anyway.
What does it mean to take a stand for Jesus? Now that's more hype. Okay, so first and foremost, to find out what taking a stand means, we must first understand the context and the meaning of the word. To take a stand, it means to adopt a firm position about an issue.
Agreed, okay?
And the meaning of taking a stand for Christ, that's our point. Taking a stand for Christ. The meaning of taking a stand for Christ is believing in God and standing up for Him when someone mocks. What will you do? Will you just sit back or will you say, stop it, that's not right. You should not mock Jesus.
Right. So, when we take a stand for Jesus, what you said earlier is to take a firm position, right? So, when we take a firm position and a stand for God, it's really important that we don't just look at making a stand, but making sure our stand is firm.
Yeah.
We do not get swayed easily.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us nowadays, okay, sometimes we tend to get swayed by other people's opinion that, hey, you know what, it's okay to do this. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what,
okay to
fine.
do that.
And we get swayed from opinions left and right, okay? But when we adopt a firm stand and we stand for Christ,
Yeah.
we have to know what we're doing. We have to know what God has said, and we have to put that into practice.
Yeah.
Right. So, what is your take? Anything you'd like to add in?
Well, taking a stand for me is very important in the Christian life because when you go out there, out to the outside world, once you finish school and you start working, your colleagues, I mean most of us are still in school.
Yeah,
Most of
I
the
agree,
people
yeah.
watching this were still in school. So your colleagues, your friends outside, a lot of them are gonna have opinions about God and faith, and some of them might even curse. Sometimes even your loved ones too. Some of them unsafe loved ones.
Right, because not everybody has the same opinion.
Yeah, everyone is differently. How would I word it? Everyone has different opinions and thoughts. That's how God created all of us, all unique.
Exactly. But I think it's important to note what our opinion is.
We okay. Let's just say you have opinion about something. A lot of people have opinion about something, but the minute someone says something else that they think is good, they jump ship.
Yeah, they jump ship, exactly. So they might have an opinion, but they might not always back it up.
Yeah.
It might not be a strong opinion.
As the opinion before,
Exactly.
that means they are not firm in their opinion.
Exactly. So when we go out there, right, not everybody has the same mindset. Mindsets of people will vary regardless. We know that for a fact. Not everybody has the same mindset. People are all different and think differently. But are you somebody that people will say, hey, don't say that around this person, you know,
Yeah.
this guy, this guy, don't mess around with this guy when it comes to Jesus or mocking Jesus, because he will make a stand. This guy knows what he's talking about.
He will tell you off.
He will tell you off, exactly. Are you a person that somebody can say that about you? Or are you somebody that people can say, hey, don't worry about it, like, this guy won't do anything, you know? He's always like that one time.
Just say only, just say, give him, if he states his opinion, just say something else. Let's say he likes green broccoli more than he likes cauliflower.
Well, where did the broccoli come from last suddenly? Talking about Jesus and you brought broccoli. So, our next point we'll be looking into is the fear of making the stand.
The fear of making the stand.
Really, when a lot of people, what separates people in the Christian world is sometimes people might want to make a stand, and some people do. But on the other side of the spectrum, there are people who want to make a stand and don't do anything about it. And I want to look at what's holding them back and what's keeping them from doing and making that decision for Christ, to make a firm stand, to change their life around and to touch other people's life. Okay, so when we talk about the fear to witness, right, which is essentially what I'm getting into right now, there are really a number of things that might be holding us back. For example, the fear of failure or the fear of rejection. Firstly, I want to look at the fear of failure. Failure is essentially the absence of success that gives such a heavy sense of embarrassment, anxiety, anger, sadness, and shame. Now, regardless of who you are, you definitely would have gone through failure at one point of time in your life. But what's important is that we don't let the fear of failure be what keeps us from witnessing to people about telling other people about Jesus. Are we going to let that hold us down? No, that shouldn't be the case. Failure will come regardless. I said this before. Failure will come regardless of who you are.
And what you do, no matter what you do, failure is gonna come.
If you live life long enough, you would have gone through failure.
Yeah.
We just have to make sure we don't let it be what stops us from letting us witness to people.
Yeah, the fear of it too. Like the fear of failure is what holds most youth back, or most adults, even adults, holds most adults back.
Sometimes it can petrify adults as well, not just the youth. Yeah, some adults are petrified because, you know what, I'm scared of, what if I do this and I fail? What's gonna happen? I can't do that. I don't want to take the risk.
I'm not taking the risk. I'm just gonna play it safe.
But failure is not the end.
Yeah.
We have to remember that failure is not the end. It is but a stepping stone to success.
Yeah.
And that is the mindset I believe everybody should have.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to another soul being saved for Christ.
Yeah, I mean, like, the soul is more important than you being afraid. So like, wake up. A soul is more important.
Exactly. So when we look at failure, right, some of the greatest minds in our world and the influencers of our world, they have gone through failure. But what separates them and what brought them up is failure not holding them down. Not being what's the word I'm looking for? It's not letting fear overtake you to the extent that, hey, I've tried this so many times, it's time to give up.
Yeah, it's time to give up. Like let's say you're on a school project or a test or something like that, and you don't know how to answer. A lot of times you see people, if they don't know how to answer or they can't finish the project in time, you see them like in the exam hall.
Yeah, totally not me, definitely not me.
I give up, this is not for me, this is not the way. But you see some of them who don't know, but you can still see them trying their very best to do it.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Thomas Edison is one of them.
Oh yeah, Thomas Edison in school?
Oh. No, I'm talking about like the light bulb, the failures he had.
So, Thomas Edison once said, right, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I forgot
10,000 times.
I seriously forgot the number. I'm really sorry, but I forgot the number he said, but I think it was 1,000. I didn't fail 1,000 times. I just found 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb.
Yeah.
And what does that tell you? It tells you that his mindset was one that didn't let failure be what held him down.
Yeah, and Also, the thing about failure is you need to have positivity. When
Exactly.
you have positivity, failure won't affect you as much as you let it.
Exactly. So a positive mindset is really important when it comes to fighting against it.
Yeah.
Now, what else can we look at that keeps us down? What was it? Oh yeah, age.
Yes. The fear of age, okay?
Well, not exactly the fear of age,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, like, they're afraid. Okay, let's bring this back to evangelism, witnessing. They're afraid to go out on the streets because of their age.
Exactly.
A lot of people think like they're afraid that adults will come back. Who are you to tell me what to do?
Exactly. They're afraid that, you know what, I'm too young. Who am I to say something like that?
Who am I? Who am I to tell okay, let's just
adult,
say
especially
yeah,
adult.
like let's say it's an elderly uncle, like 60, 70.
Yeah.
And let's say a 10-year-old kid goes up. If that kid goes up and gives him the flyer and tells the uncle you need to come to church, I respect that kid.
Yeah, but at many times we let that be what holds us down. We touched a little bit on this in our previous episode on what the youth can do for God.
Yeah.
We talked about age being one thing that we are afraid of.
Yeah.
I know we talked about this before, but
Age holding you back from witnessing.
yeah, but I just want to touch a little bit more on it today because that is seriously one of the biggest factors, especially for the youth, when it comes to reaching out to people. Now, I know in school, for the youth, right? I know in school it may be easier to witness to a person or friend, but what about when it comes to witnessing
On the streets.
to an older person?
Yeah, on the streets.
Exactly. So we're afraid that, you know, I'm only, let's say I'm only 11 years old, I'm 12 years old. What can I do? Well, I don't think that should be the case, right? How old was Jesus when he first started preaching?
When he preached in the synagogue.
Yeah.
No, technically it's not when he first started preaching. He went to the synagogue and was like preaching with the elders and talking to the elders. That's the information that I got out of it.
But the key thing here is, what was his age?
He was 12.
He was 12 years old. Okay? And that is really a huge example when it comes to age not letting it be a factor that held him down. Jesus was 12 years old and he was already preaching and talking about God. Am I right? So again, we just have to look at the Bible and read our Bible and we can clearly see that. So, other than age and failure, there's also rejection.
Yeah, rejection is a very... Actually, age and failure doesn't hurt you as much as rejection.
That's true. I can agree with that. So, the same can be said about rejection, right? No one likes rejection.
Yeah, I mean like... you don't go up to someone knowing you get rejected to be, let's say, accepted in
I got rejected.
Yeah,
today.
like you're not smart, but I'm gonna go talk to the nerds and ask them to be friends with me.
Exactly. So nobody likes rejection because we all want to fit in. No matter who you are, you would have wanted to fit in at one point or other in your life.
If you didn't, then
it's a bit sad. It's a bit sad. But and many times we let rejection hold us down as well. We don't want to be left out. And then many times we are afraid that, hey, you know, if I tell this person about God and he rejects me, what's next? What am I to do?
Yeah, and also linking back to my point earlier about taking a stand, we also are afraid to take a stand because of rejection. If we take a stand, we be afraid we'll be outcast.
Oh yes, exactly. So we are afraid that if I take a stand for God, will I be left out? Will I be abandoned by this group of people?
Will I be left alone?
Exactly.
Will they leave me like faster than bees when they pollinate?
So one of the scriptures I remember in the Bible was also about Jesus facing rejection.
Yeah.
Now, Jesus faced rejection on a massive scale.
Yeah.
Okay, he was
crucified for his. He got crucified.
Exactly.
He didn't just go, I didn't friend you. I'm going to crucify you.
He was rejected even by the Jews.
Yeah, even by his own kind. His own kind mocked him when he was on the cross.
Exactly. So in Isaiah 53 verse 3, it says, "He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom hide their face, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem." So we can clearly see that Jesus was rejected. So can you imagine if Jesus decided to throw the towel down and say, "I was rejected, you know what, that hurt, I'm done"? Let me tell you, if that was the case, we wouldn't be here today. We would have no hope for the future. It would all be bleak, because Jesus would not have died on the cross for our sins, and we know what would happen if that was the case.
Yeah.
We would have no future, and we would see ourselves, the only future we would have is in hell.
Yeah.
But he knew that his rejection, our souls, was more important than the rejection that he faced.
Yeah.
And he went through all of that so that we could be saved and go to heaven. So, if Jesus could go through all of that for us, I think we can face a bit of rejection
For him.
for him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If he could die painfully for us and get rejected, not just by his friends, by basically the whole world.
I wouldn't say the whole world, but a
Most
large amount
most
of
people in the world.
Exactly.
A large quantity of people.
So, with that being said, we'd like to continue our next point right after this good news segment.
Hi everybody, welcome to the good news segment. I'm Keenan Chi, and I know you guys haven't heard from me in a while, but don't worry, I will be back. I was just a little bit occupied with my exams. So, a little bit about myself. I was born into a Catholic family. I had a relatively okay life and a fine childhood, but for some reason, throughout my life, there was an emptiness inside of me. Before I met Jesus, I just was trying to fill that gap with anything I could, with my friends, with my phone, games, with anything, materialistic objects. I knew who Jesus was and I read the Bible, but I did not have a relationship with him. Until one Wednesday night service in church, I gave my life to God and he came into my life and changed it forever. But it doesn't stop there. He still worked in my life after that. As I was sleeping over at one of my friend's house, I woke up one morning and I stretched and I hit my hands on his ceiling fan at max speed. I know it sounds pretty funny, but it wasn't funny, it was painful. Both my hands were still there miraculously, but there were no cuts, no bruises immediately. I didn't notice there was any wounds or anything. So I went about my life. Until eventually I started to notice. When I practiced my guitar, my hands would shake and then tense up like this, and it would hurt a lot. I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't want to worry my parents. I didn't want to go for a surgery. Until eventually one day I just couldn't take it anymore. Because playing guitar is a part of me. If any of you know me, you know that I love the guitar. And removing that from me was horrifying. So I told God, this skill that I have, if you heal my hands, it is yours. Everything I do with the guitar will be to serve you. And then I just forgot about it after praying. I didn't check, I didn't do anything, I just went about my life. Until I noticed that when I picked up the guitar, my hands stopped tensing up. It wouldn't hurt anymore. It was fine. I got through whole practice sessions without having a single tense up or pain or anything. Then I realized, okay, God, this skill is yours. Ever since then, I've taken every single opportunity I get to serve God with my guitar playing skills. Thank you.
Hi, welcome back.
After 3 minutes.
So, Keenan, wow,
What?
It's been quite a while since you showed your face on the podcast. Now, I know he said he was kind of busy with his
exams.
His exams and stuff. But we do hope to see him back here soon enough to host as well. So, thank you for that amazing testimony, Keenan. What a miracle God was able to do for him in his life, right?
Yeah.
He surrendered his talent that God gave him, and God was able to touch him and heal him. And look at him now, right?
Yeah. Playing for the worship team on stage. Come on.
So, thank you for that testimony, Keenan. And Jacob, do you have anything to talk about for the notifications?
Okay, I got like a few announcements for our notifications. Okay. First and foremost, I'd like to say for our 180, we will continue, but it will be online. It won't be live. Follow us at Ictus Youth on our Instagram. For more information about the 180 or anything regarding our youth, you can go to our website, our Ictus Youth Instagram. Sorry, not our website. So, and for other events held in the church, there won't be any more other events in church. It will be online. Remember to come for services every week at Wednesday, 8 p.m. on Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. tomorrow on Sunday, and Sunday night we'll have a service at 7, right? Yeah. 7 p.m. That's
So we really have to do our services online now due to the current
circumstances. Current circumstances of the MCO.
Right. So we will still be having our services online. Same. So I do hope that you will join us for our online services.
And
tomorrow.
If you have any more information about like our 180 or services, you can text us on our Instagram page at cfm.pj, or you can text us at our Ictus Youth page, or leave it in the comments here.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments down below, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible.
And if you have any questions too, leave it in the comments. We'll try our best to answer.
Okay, so with all that being said, before the good news segment, we talked about the fears that might be holding us down. The fears that might be holding us back, actually.
Yeah, not down.
What keeps us away from doing the will of God.
Yeah.
So, now, with all that being said, I want to look at what is the importance of making a stand for God.
Yeah.
Okay? We have to make sure that if you're going to go through all this, right, we have to have enough drive. We have to have the right drive and the right mindset. So, what's it for? What's the importance? So, let's get into it. When God was on earth, right? When Jesus was on earth, he went through all this rejection, all this failure, and reached out to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So I believe we have the same goal to reach as many lives as possible.
Yeah.
As far as we can.
So don't let your fears stop you from reaching your goals. Jesus had a goal, faced all the rejection, but his mindset, he had his mind straight on his goal. He wasn't looking left or right, he was just looking straight on his goal, which was winning souls for Jesus.
Winning souls for the kingdom of heaven.
I feel like it's kind of like Mario, every time he wins a soul, how you pull down the flag every time you
That's when
press
he
the stage.
completes the level. But his goal was to get us to heaven, to die on the cross for our sins, so that we wouldn't have to spend our lives and our eternity in hell.
Yeah.
So we have to realize that whatever we are doing for God, the souls we reach out and we tend to save is more important than any fear that we have. Let me tell you, the fear of hell is definitely one that should be larger than that of your fear of rejection or failure, because you do not want to have to spend your eternity in hell. Okay?
Yeah.
So now, when it comes to the importance of making a stand for Christ, all we really have to do is see what the Bible has to say about it. One really important scripture we can look at is Matthew chapter 10 verse 33.
Matthew chapter 10 verse 33.
So it says that, "But whoever denies me before man, I will deny him before my Father in heaven." So that after hearing this verse, right, you tell me if you are still too afraid to make a stand for God.
I don't know if that scares you, but it scares me. That's why taking a stand is so important.
Right.
If you don't take a stand, you're basically denying Jesus.
Exactly. So when you're with a group of friends, or if you're in a group at all, actually,
Yeah.
if you if you deny God, right, it says here that He will deny you before the Father in heaven.
Yeah.
So the rejection you will face from God is definitely
I think
gonna be the worst rejection you ever face.
I think you probably are more afraid of the rejection from God than from people.
Exactly.
I feel like nowadays is the other way around. A lot of people don't have the fear of God.
Right, exactly, I agree. But that is holy fear we're talking about, right? Okay, so before we get into that, right? The rejection that we will face from God in heaven is going to be the worst rejection you will ever face.
In life, period.
Exactly. So, forget being rejected by your crush, okay?
Yeah, like
you get rejected by God and it's game over for you.
Yeah, it's like you're playing a video game. You don't have 3 lives. You die. If God doesn't let you into heaven, you're going straight down to hell.
You have 1 life and you have
One
one
life.
chance to make it right.
Yeah.
So I strongly suggest you make the right choice.
I mean, like the saying YOLO kind of makes sense when you think about it.
Exactly. So in what period we're talking about? So, Jacob, when it comes to making a stand for God, it better be a firm one, don't you agree?
Yeah. Like what I said earlier about taking the stand, to have a firm position about an issue.
Right. So we always have to be on our guard, stand firm in your faith, be a person of courage,
Yeah.
be strong. And as soon as we recognize thoughts of fear, doubt, discouragement or anxiety or temptation, we have to choose to guard our minds against the deception of the enemy and choose to remember what God says. Don't forget that it says in the Bible in 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what does that tell us once again? That fear is not from God.
Yeah.
If it's not from God, who else could it be from?
It's from the devil, obviously, but a lot of people get these 2 fears mixed up: the fear of God and the fear of fear.
Not exactly the fear. The fear of God and just fear as a whole. You know what I mean? The fear of life, in fact. So why don't you run them through what it exactly means to have the fear of God?
Well, to have the fear of God is having holy reverence for God. And it's you knowing that God doesn't even need to snap his fingers. Just thinks about it and you could disappear immediately. The fear of God is having like reverence for him.
Exactly. But in another sense, fear could also be the fear of life.
Yeah.
What holds you down in life? Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So the fear from the devil. So
Yeah. Oh
how
my
do
gosh.
we protect?
I came up with the perfect name for it. The fear of God and the fear of the devil. Oh, saw that.
So when we talk about the fear of God and the fear of the devil, right? How do we protect ourselves from the devil? What do we do to protect ourselves that we don't let fear overtake us or hold us a prisoner?
It's okay. It's actually the most simplest thing that a lot of people don't want to do. It's called praying.
Yeah, so when we pray, we build a stronger relationship with God.
Yeah. And when we have a stronger relationship with God, it's like putting on the whole armor of God. I have a scripture for it. Ephesians 6 verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Yeah, so we can see in that scripture that having a relationship with God, the better relationship you have with God, the more protected you are from the devil.
Okay, it's like you're building a car, right? With your car part, you have your engine, then you have the frame of the car. How you build it is like when your relationship with God. When your relationship with God grows stronger, you're building an armor. Like, you know what armor we're talking about, right?
It's a form of protection.
Yeah, the
essentially.
sword of the spirit, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith,
And the helmet of truth.
yeah, the helmet of truth.
So The only thing keeping us away from the devil is God.
Yeah, it's God. Okay, it's kind of like a mat from if you think about it. You pray, God equals no devil.
God is the only thing standing between us and the devil, but we have to choose to let God stand in the gap for us.
Yeah.
To let God be there to protect us. He will not step in if we don't want Him to.
And the only way God can stand in the gap for you is if you have a relationship with Him. When you pray to Him, when you talk to Him, your relationship with God can't just be a one-way conversation. Okay, I'm gonna use Jordan. Jordan, how's your day? How's school? How are you? So how's the family? How's the dog?
Exactly.
It can't be a one-way conversation. For my questions to be answered, you have to listen. God has to answer you back.
Right. So when we have a relationship with God, we also have to make sure that we don't just talk to Him, but we also listen. No relationship will ever work if you're just gonna be there talking and you never let the other person talk, or you never hear them out or listen. So when we talk about the attacks of the devil, right? What did it say about the devil, protecting yourself from the devil again?
It says, okay, how about we study
The wiles
this?
of the devil.
Yeah, the wiles of the devil, yeah.
Okay, so the wiles of the devil, we can also take it as fear. So when God stands there and He protects us and puts His hand there to protect us, right? He will guard us and make sure that fear does not control our lives and we never become a prisoner to fear.
Yeah.
It says in Philippians chapter 4 verse 6, don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all that He has done. So we can clearly see here that we aren't meant to worry because God is there for us if we have a relationship with Him. He will not abandon us.
Yeah.
All we have to do is pray and have a relationship.
God is the only father, brother, friend that will protect you and never leave your side.
Exactly.
He is the only friend that will stay with you till the very end.
Right. So, with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. I really hope you guys found this session informative.
Yeah, and you take to heart what we have told you and apply it to your lives. That's the main purpose why we are doing this all the time.
And before you go, we have a few notifications we have to tell you about regarding our events happening in church.
Well, like I said earlier, 180 is today. I forgot to mention. It's today. What's the date today?
17?
Yeah, 17th of October. You can go log in at Cisco
WebEx.
Yeah, that. What Jordan said.
You can join us for our 180 online youth session at 4:30 on Cisco WebEx.
Yeah, at 4:30. Remember.
So
Important
remember,
time.
we won't be in church for 180 youth due to the current circumstances and the CMCO we are currently in right now.
Yeah.
But that won't stop us, right? We'll still be online and we'll still carry out our online youth and session.
And our Sunday school is also online.
It is?
Yeah, it is. You don't know. So, okay, for the adults watching, if you want to send your children for Sunday school, you can contact us at our Instagram page.
Right.
Yeah.
So, for the kids as well, there will still be Sunday school, but it will be held online.
Yeah.
So, that's all the time we have for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this session. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, why don't you guys hit the like button and subscribe?
Don't forget the notification bell.
And the notification
Don't
bell.
forget that.
So you stay up to date with all the posts.
Yeah, all the posts you have.
So, we will be having another episode in 2 weeks, and I surely hope that you will join us for that.
Yeah, and remember,
What's your thoughts?